Welcome back to Broncos Country Tonight. Let's talk about how the Broncos defense will look to attack the Patriots offense. The offense, in a lot of ways, as you pointed out multiple times on the radio show, Benjamin, functioned fairly similarly to what you'd expect a Josh McDaniels offense to function, even without Cam Newton. You have maybe a few less designed quarterback runs, but they are going to try to run the ball with Rex Burkhead, Damian Harris, and James White to a certain extent, but although he's more the pass-catching guy. So you know that those three guys are going to be heavily involved no matter what they do. And then you're going to try to hit Julian Edelman in the slot, wherever he's moving around, maybe N'Keal Harry on the outside. So we kind of know what they're going to try to do, whether Cam Newton is the quarterback or not. But let's talk about this as the way you would approach that. If Cam Newton is the starting quarterback, how are you approaching their offense?
If Cam Newton's the starting quarterback, we're going to play contain drop 8. We're going to keep our zone alignment, but we're going to play contain drop 8. That means you're sending 3 guys after the quarterback, but you're really only sending the nose. The outside ends are kind of in a contain mode to make sure he stays in the pocket. So guys like Shelby and guys like Deshaun or Timmy Jernigan, whoever's playing the other side over there, needs to pressure Cam, but not let him get outside on them. As long as they can keep Cam bottled up, and that if he steps up, whoever's got that middle zone right there, the spy zone right there in front of the quarterback will be able to take him down. So as long as you do that, you'll be okay in keeping the designed run stuff mostly contained. If Cam's out of there, we're playing this a little bit differently. We're still playing our 4, but we're not playing 3-man drop 8. We might blitz a little bit more. We might send a linebacker. A lot of that will hinge on, if you got Hoyer Stidham out there, the stress is mostly going to be on Josie Jewell, because he's going to be the guy covering the running back, and that running back is an extension in the pass game, is an extension of their run game. They love those swing passes out there, and that's the weak spot in Vic Fangio's defense. The cover 4 that they play asks those outside linebackers to drop back into hook zones, and that leaves that flat open a lot of the times. And that means you either need to have a DB that's going to be bearing down on it, or you're going to have a linebacker able to go side to side to be able to cover down on it as their secondary responsibility. So the stress will be on Josie, because you're going to see Alexander kind of being the go away from the ball guy, taking the tight ends, looking at that robber zone, the underneath stuff there. So I think if it's me, it's just a difference in how we contain versus how we rush the passer.
You know, one of the things that you find when you're facing the Patriots is they try to, on the defensive side, they try to take away your best option, and on the offense, they try to exploit you in what you do best. Broncos are actually a pretty good run defense, but you're saying it's a mix of what they're going to do with the run and then the running backs coming out of the backfield. That worries you significantly more than what the receivers are going to do.
Absolutely. They're going to take shots to N'Keal Harry on the sideline against Ojemudia, who will probably be lined up against because he's the rookie, and they're going to try to pick on that. And then they will try to, of course, the Edelman slant thing, they'll try to do that, although Edelman's not the same player he used to be.
Lots of drops.
Yeah, lots of drops this year. He's slow. He's noticeably slower than he used to be, not as quick. But the thing that worries me is the running backs out of the backfield. Burkhead loves that angle route, and they love to hit him over the middle of the field, split the linebackers and hit him over the middle of the field. And then James White on that swing pass. They love to hit him on the swing and the screen and let him create after he catches the ball, and both of them do very well at it. And those are the weak spots in Vic's defense. So that's the area I'm most concerned about. I'm not really concerned about Cam or Hoyer or Stidham lighting it up through the air or anything like that. I'm really not. I'm more concerned about those running backs out of the backfield and what they're able to do nickel and dime in the defense, and if the defense can hold them to field goals and punts.
We saw a higher level of blitz rate against the Jets. Now, you play the Jets that way. Can you afford to play the Patriots that way?
I think if you pick your spots. The Patriots' offensive line's a little banged up.
Yes, it is.
And so that's an area where you might be able to do some things. I might looking at, if it's me, I might look at blitzing on first down. They love those swing passes on second down. I might look at blitzing on first down, seeing if I can, blitz directly at the back on a the handoff, key in on the handoff and try to blow it up and then go after the quarterback. And that's the way I would read it and react to it. And try to put them behind the chains from the get-go. That forces them into pass situations. And once you've got them in pass situations, that's where this team is at its best. Once you put them in obvious pass situations, because that will allow guys like Shelby Harris to get after the quarterback, get those hands up, knock passes down. That will allow guys like Mike Purcell to, instead of having to hold up at the point of attack, be able to bust through there and try to get a sack. And then it allows your DBs back there to feast on the ball. Guys like Bosby and Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson to be able to go back there and try to pick you off. And Ojemudia, the guy should have 2 interceptions right now. I'm waiting for the kid to get his first one that counts. And so maybe this is the game where he gets it. If they can force them into obvious pass situations and these DBs can key off on the quarterback and get those interceptions and turnovers.
Yeah, this is certainly an opportunity game for some turnovers, especially if you have Jarrett Stidham out there or Brian Hoyer, maybe even Cam Newton to a certain extent. He threw a pretty bad interception against the Raiders when I was watching that game. But the Broncos defense so far has not really been able to put it all together. You're right. I mean, they've had near interceptions. They've had near moments, but they've only had 2 turnovers so far. And Justin Simmons last week talked about wanting to make things a little more comfortable for their young quarterback in Brett Rippon. So this seems like a game that if you want to try to steal this one, which most people are framing this as if the Broncos win, it's a steal. You want to steal this one while they're down dealing with some other stuff, you're going to have to get some turnovers.
You are. You're going to have to generate some turnovers. And we remember about this time last year is where the defense started busting out and getting turnovers. It took them getting the sacks and then they get the turnovers. And then they started feasting on that stuff. And confidence begets confidence. Once it's a snowball downhill. Once you get a little bit of confidence, that stuff starts picking up and you start believing in yourself and you start making things happen instead of waiting for them to happen or letting them happen. That's what happened last year with this football team. And I'd love to see it. I'd love to see this team rattle off 2 wins in a row, 3 wins in a row here. Get back to 500, and all of a sudden they got a little confidence, even though they're shorthanded, even though all these things have gone wrong, and you're without Von Miller, and you're without all these, Cortland Sutton, all these players. Team rallied around it and came together and tried to hold it together. All of a sudden, you're getting guys like Drew Lock and A.J. Bouye back, and you're looking at the soft part of the schedule. All of a sudden, the sky's the limit for this football team.
Yeah, a guy that was playing with a ton of confidence was Bradley Chubb, and it was nice to see because he has the talent to be able to back it up, but he had to really have a breakout game, and I'm wondering if he can build on that.
That's what I'm talking about. Confidence begets confidence, and once one thing happened, all of a sudden you believe you can continue to do it, and for a guy like Bradley Chubb who had been 85, 90% so far this season, having that confidence going forward is going to be huge.